where I think we can learn from the experience of the blind people. And I see what's really important in this is that there be a partnership between the people who are visually impaired and the people who are not visually impaired. And it should be, as far as possible, a partnership of equals. The sighted people have more facility in some respects, but the blind people are very much the domain experts. So they have the special knowledge that is really valuable in terms of knowing what will work and what won't work. It's a bit like seeing the doctor. Seeing the doctor for anything is a collaboration between the patient and the doctor. It's not all the patient and it's not all the doctor, it's a collaboration. But in this case, it's much more of a collaboration of equals, and the blind people have very specialized knowledge of experience. So I'm looking for promoting a partnership rather than anything else. So I'll give them my little speech, and we've got 5 minutes left. I think that John and Jim should have a first shot at things because they're leaving in 5 minutes, and then everybody else has a free rein.
Yeah, I'd like to just suggest one thing that's kind of related to what I said earlier, which I think that it would be great for example, blind coders to contact the developers of this app, because if they could have a way of users, both providers of help and consumers of help, to put in their interest and their competence. So if imagine that I'm a blind person and I need some help with math. So I say, well, I'm interested in, I put that in the app someplace, that my interest is math. And then other people might put in, crossword puzzles or mathematics or chemistry. And then the software should try to find the best match, not only geographically, as you mentioned, it already does, but also the best match in terms of interest on the one hand and competence on the other. I think it should be fairly easy to do that. And I think it would add a tremendous amount to the usability of the app.
I have something similar. Thanks very much, Jim. I think that was very well said. Yeah, I'm just wondering whether geography or language is the main issue. So if one is speaking German or English or whatever it is, that is, I think, the main issue, not whether one's in the United States or Austria or Germany or whatever.
I've gotten people in India before, so yeah, but they're English speaking people, so exactly.
So that I think, but yeah, and I certainly, if the app was constrained in that way, or saying that I am actually an expert, or not an expert, but I'm happy to deal with, shall we say, Python and LaTeX or Tech, then I'd be quite happy to join in, actually, because that would be my only specialities. And I can see, Jane, what you're saying about if someone doesn't know the program, then, or the programming language, it makes it much more difficult, because one's talking about, open bracket here, curly brackets here, that sort of thing. Whereas someone who's knows the language could say, hey, you're missing a closing curly bracket. Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
I'd like to add something here from my experience at the Open University, which is that they did talking books that were recorded by somebody talking, and there was a skill to speaking mathematics, and it would be great if we could get hold of that stuff, because I think we can learn a lot from it. And that speaking, knowing how to talk to somebody who doesn't have eyes is really important. There's sort of skill in that. I think we were talking about, bye John, bye James. Jana and I had a conversation about writing an email, how to write an email so that somebody who is blind can read it through in one pass, rather than having to go up and down and up and down. And we didn't come to any conclusion, but I felt that I wanted some advice and guidance because however wonderful my theory is, practice is a stubborn thing, and what works is what's important. So we're now back to well, I like to see it in terms of applying what we've heard in this different context of the tech community, LaTeX, and also mathematics. In a sense, Jana is talking about accessible code, and the tech community, its holy grail, if you like, is accessible mathematics, making mathematics accessible, which of course involves effort from authors as well as from creators of style files.